What is up, everybody? The question of the day, and also likely the title of this video: can you measure your vertical jump using only an iPhone? Your vertical jump is one of the most important metrics for any athlete, and sometimes honestly it's kind of hard to measure. I've tried a bunch of different ways. I've tried putting tapes on the end of my fingers and jumping up. I've tried just jumping and grabbing the rim and seeing how far up on my fingers I get. Also at my high school, there's one of those things that goes on the wall that you reach up, measure where you're at, and then you jump and see how high you can get. But you have to have someone to watch and see where you get. And also every time I've done it, I get my arm swing and I just rake my fingers up along that wall. You know, the one that's like, it's bumpy and hairy. And I swear every high school has it. You've likely probably bled from it yourself when someone pushed you in elementary school. But the other thing with all of these is they'll tell you a number as far as how high you're getting, but you're leaving a lot on the table as far as other metrics that are important. You don't know if that vertical is coming from a lot of power, if a lot of it is from your tendon elasticity, the speed that you're generating when you're running. You don't know if you're generating a lot of power early on in the jump, but then losing some as you follow through. So you're missing out on a lot of these statistics. The gold standard for measuring is a force plate, but I live in rural Idaho and I am a broke college student and I do not have access to a force plate currently. However, I recently ran into an app for your phone. This app supposedly can measure all of those statistics using keyframes in a video and measuring different angles of your legs, of your hips. It uses artificial intelligence to put points on your joints, and it can supposedly give you a lot of those same statistics that you can get from a force plate. At first I saw this app and I thought it probably doesn't work too well, but I looked into it a little deeper and I started doing research, and they actually have a lot of published studies with the scientific method on their website. So they took 20 active, healthy guys with the average age of 22, give or take a couple years, and each of them did 5 maximal counter movement jumps, which is basically without arm swing, you're standing still, you go down, you go back up as quick as you can, and you see how high you can get. So they had them do it on a force plate, but they also used this Jump iPhone app to measure the statistics as well. Correlation, which is do the numbers line up as far as like going up and down together, 0.995, which is almost perfect, very little difference, and a lot of that could just be from noise. And then you have interclass correlation coefficient interclass correlation coefficient. Basically, like, are you measuring the same numbers? Do the actual numbers themselves agree? Does this jump line up with this jump? With the interclass correlation coefficient, just like the correlation itself, almost identical to the force plate. Finally, they measured the Bland-Altman bias, basically saying, is one tool consistently higher or lower? When you think about like a scale in a bathroom, like I know at my house, like the bathroom scale downstairs probably measures like within a pound difference of the bathroom scale upstairs. The app traditionally reads about 1 centimeter lower than a force plate does, but 1 centimeter, that's like less than my fingertip. That is not much at all. I guess if you want to brag to a girl, you can just add that 1 centimeter back in and let her know what your vertical is. Not only are you just measuring vertical height directly, but you're also going to get statistics as far as the power that you're generating, the rate of force development, which is really important in your vertical jump, how fast that power is being generated and how quick you're coming up, and where that power is coming from. And I figured today it would be a good opportunity to test out this app, get some numbers on where my vertical is, see if this app is as accurate as the studies say that it is, and then give you guys that information so that you can see not only where I'm at and keep up with the journey, but also if this is a tool that you'd like to add to your toolkit as you're training as an athlete, or maybe trying to get your vertical higher. Maybe this is an app that can help you too. I already know my height and my body weight, but I need to calculate my leg length, and then I also need to calculate my height at 90 degrees. So my height when I'm in squat position, and then lever, which I don't know what that is, but we're gonna look it up. Height from your knees to your head is lever if you're kneeling down. Your heel up to the side of your femur. You bring this around. Looks like we're sitting at about 35 inches. My leg length reveal. There you go, 35 inches. Dude, I'm not even sure how we're gonna get this. I guess I can pull this down with me. All right. I would say it's about 90 degrees, about 46 inches. I'm not gonna lie, that may not have been the most accurate measurement. This tape thing is a piece of crap too. About 50 inches, 4 feet tall on my knees. Okay, I apologize. You're gonna have to deal with the worst camera quality because I think my other phone was too slow to even run the app in the AI. I don't know why I'm blowing air out my mouth like that. It's like a rocket. It gets me a little higher. Getting a little warm now. Okay, so I'm still kind of trying to figure out how the app works. My first vertical was like 9 inches, and then my second vertical was 45 inches. As much as I would like to have a nice 45-inch vertical right now, I don't think I'm quite there. So I'm gonna try it in here. I got my phone set up on a more stable surface. We'll see if this is a little more accurate. I think I figured out what the problem was. There is a countdown timer you can set, and it starts measuring once that timer goes off. When I was walking, it was measuring my feet. Depending on where it measured, it was either really high or really low, I guess. I don't know. It seems to be getting fairly consistent ranges. There's a couple other movement types I'm gonna run through and see if I can get accurate results. And obviously I'll give you the rundown once I'm done doing all of this.
2 hours later.
All right, so I got a couple jumps in and it seems to be giving fairly consistent jumping results. What we're gonna do now is up there, we're gonna do the tape test, measure my reach up on the wall, see how high I can jump up there. Based off of the one where I was swinging my arms and just jumping straight up, no steps or anything, it seemed about 60 centimeters, which is about 2 feet. And that's probably fairly accurate because I rely on speed a lot. Like I can't even touch rim just standing. I can barely even get halfway up the net, to be honest. But as soon as I run, I can get a lot higher off of speed. It's giving me some interesting insights into like where I could improve, but we're gonna try to test that against the tape thing to see how accurate that 60 centimeter measurement is, and I'll let you know. Even just standing here holding the phone, I can get like way up there. I'm thinking maybe right here on this wall. Slightly different measurements, but if we're in the ballpark, I think we can safely say that the app is functioning. This is why I hate the tape. This is why I want the app to work. Sometimes the tape does not stick. We got one up there, we got one to stick. Let's get another one. See if we get a little bit higher. Low key, almost the exact same spot. So that's probably fairly accurate. I'm not getting nearly as high just standing, but I have high maxes. So I think what I'm realizing is transferring that and the utilization of that power, I'm not getting as much. So I think those are all, it's a pretty good grouping. And so I would say that's probably pretty accurate for what we're looking at. Between 7.1 and 7.2. Try to get this to the ground. Pull it out with my feet. This is a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. 9.1. Approximately 7.1, approximately 9.1. That's the exact same as the app was measuring, about 2 feet. I think it's probably safe to say the app is pretty accurate. Low-key, probably a little more accurate than me measuring because I didn't do the best job. Okay, so it's been a couple of days and I just wanted to come back and give closing remarks / final update on my review. I would say overall, I think the app works well and it gives a lot of really interesting insights, and it did seem to measure my vertical pretty accurately. It does charge a subscription fee, but it's not too expensive, and you can pay the monthly fee, or you can pay like, it's more expensive, it's like 150 or something, and then you can keep it for forever. I also just wanted to give an insight on using ChatGPT to analyze the jumps. So what I did is I took screenshots of the jumps that I was doing and I ran that through ChatGPT, basically asking it where I could improve my vertical jump the most. And what I learned was, in terms of actual strength, I do have more than enough strength to get up, but the way that I'm jumping, I'm not converting as much of that strength into direct explosiveness. And so that's why I jump better off 1 foot, actually, is even though I have the strength to be a 2-footed jumper, the way my body mechanics are currently, I'm not converting that. And so moving forward, I'm going to be implementing a little bit more plyometrics, but also just explosive work as far as explosive squats, more power cleans, jumping deadlifts, quick movements with weights to get my body and my central nervous system used to not only just moving heavy weight, but also converting that heavy weight into quick, snappy movements. Overall, I would say app works well. If you want to try it, check it out. And thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully it was useful for you and you got some benefit from it. I'm going to keep putting out similar content, keep putting out Dunk Journey content. So if you want to follow along with the journey, subscribe, drop a like on the video, all the stuff everybody always says. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.